Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. Today is June the 30th, 2022, and I have my little friend here. You can just see him peeking in the corner, and I'm here to welcome all of you to my channel, both repeat viewers and anybody who may be new. I enjoy hearing from all of you. And as this is June the 30th, tomorrow here in Canada, it's Canada Day. And so Kiki is dressed in her Canada Day finery. Same outfit she wears for Valentine's Day, but she's all ready to celebrate Canada Day. As you can see, I'm in my red, and if I can get my leg up high enough, you're wondering what's she gonna do. I happen to be wearing my Canada Day. Can you see the Canada flags? Canada flags on my leggings, and we're all ready to celebrate the holiday weekend. June is over already, and I am still recuperating. I know everybody is wondering how things went at the craft show, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, I don't want to forget that I had a small drawing. For those of you that faithfully watch, you know that I participated in the Summer Yarny YouTube Hop. And I put out a video the very first day of summer showing you some items I made for summer. And I also had a very small drawing. And that drawing was for this book, a book that would be useful for, well, for sexy crocheters, of course. That's what we are, aren't we? And of course, if you're in any other craft, it would be useful as well to keep a record of your craft. So I did a drawing on Monday, like I said I would, and I'm going to put a picture right here of the page when I drew using the YouTube random comment picker. And congratulations, Debbie. And I know you'll be watching this video because Debbie has been a loyal follower of mine from, I think, my very first video. If she wasn't here at the first, she went back and caught the first videos that she missed. So Debbie, I need you to email me, and my email is judyscreations@gmail.com. I think you know that, and it is in the description box below. Please email me your complete mailing address. I know I should have it because you sent me a Christmas card, but I wasn't thinking, and the envelope went in the garbage, so I don't have the email. Please send it to me. So congratulations, Debbie. Now, about my craft show. For those who have been following a while, you know that I scrambled in the late spring to get ready for this craft show this past weekend. Now, this was an unusual craft show because it wasn't just a craft show. We have here in our city annually, we have a fair that has been going since before I was born. And as a child, I went to that fair every year. And it kind of slowed down, and the service group that sponsored it decided to back out of it. Well, another service group took it over. And it's been going very well. But of course, you know, COVID, it hurt everything. But this is the first year they had the fair back. And there are a couple of buildings. Well, there used to be two. Now there's only one building by the fair, and it is one of our arenas in town. And the arena was opened for crafters and other vendors. So not everybody there was a crafter. But you basically had to go to the fair, and then you could go into the arena. And as I mentioned to you before I did it, I wasn't expecting very much. I actually had been in this craft show I'm going to say about 9 years ago, about that 9 or 10 years ago, and sold not a thing. Now I wasn't doing crochet. I was into glass jewelry at the time and didn't do a thing. It was very slow and I never wanted to go back. But apparently the craft show stopped. And the organizers this year wanted to bring it back. So this is the first time it's being held in many years. So I wasn't expecting a lot. And I have to tell you, the fair itself was very disappointing. It didn't have near the rides it used to. It didn't even have a Ferris wheel, which it usually did. And I understand that there were problems with the company. And if you wanted to take your young children, I don't know, age 3 or 4 up to about age 10, they'd had a fine time, but there wasn't much else at the fair. It was very disappointing. But despite that, there was, I guess, a fairly steady stream of foot traffic into the arena where we were set up. A lot of the traffic had no interest in being there. They just walked around, sort of looked and kept going. I watched people that were in pairs talking to each other as they walked by. They weren't looking at anything. Quite a few young children that were at the fair on their own came through. They had no interest in anything that was there. So that part was, you might say, a bit disappointing. The traffic was slim. The other thing about this particular craft show that I did not appreciate was we couldn't set up the day before, so we had to go early that morning. I had to be there around, well, earlier, but I didn't go until after 8 o'clock. And the actual doors opened at 10. That's pretty standard. But the show stayed open till 8 o'clock at night. So I was there for 12 long hours with not a lot of foot traffic, so not a lot of people to talk to. And it was spread out. And then, of course, Sunday it was open again from 10 to 4, and that wasn't as bad. But by the end, I was very, very tired. Of course, you have to then load everything up. We actually started a little after 3, getting ready to leave because the traffic was down to nothing. I brought part home, and my friend put the rest in her car, and I haven't even got it yet. She hasn't been over to unload her car, but I spent Monday putting everything away that I brought home. So it was an extremely tiring weekend, not something that I really want to do again. How were my sales? Well, that was kind of interesting. I went thinking that my summer hats would do well and that I might sell a few wind spinners because they were a very low cost item. I wasn't too sure about anything else. I did have the beach cover up that you would have seen on my Summer Yarny YouTube hop. And then I had shawls and ponchos and loveys. I had quite a number. I had about 10 of these at the show. So I thought loveys might go, hats might go, and not too much of anything else. Well, I got a big surprise. I didn't sell any wind spinners. I did sell some loveys, and had there not been another girl there farther down who did some crochet items, nothing like what I did, and she does amigurumi. I'm never going to touch amigurumi. This was my answer to doing amigurumi. And I did see 1 or 2 come by that had been to her booth first and bought their child amigurumi. Because there was one little girl quite interested in my loveys. And Dad simply showed her she had an amigurumi, and that was enough, and they walked on. So I might have sold maybe another 1 or 2 had she not been there. But that's fine. I'm still happy. I actually sold 5 of my loveys. So I was happy with that. And I asked, should I take scrunchies? And at last minute, I had a little tub of scrunchies, and I sold scrunchies 2 for $5 to 2 different people. So a few of my hair scrunchies went. And again, that's kind of what I expected. But hats, and I won't show you pictures, but you saw my hats the last couple of weeks, and most people just kept on going. One or two looked at them, yeah, okay, and kept going. One lady commented she likes hats, but didn't seem to be interested. So in the end, I sold one hat to a vendor who was across the aisle from me. And she seemed to be quite excited about it and wants me to make her more in colors that I can't get, like camouflage and things like that. So I did sell one hat. But the real surprise came was, for me, was that the very first thing I even sold was one of my ponchos, and it was a poncho done in one of the gradient cakes, actually one of the Stenley gradient cakes. And I'm going to put a picture right here. I do have pictures that I took from my website before I deleted them from my Facebook page. And so you can see that poncho, which would be cotton or cotton acrylic. And that was the first item I sold. And I thought, well, if I sell nothing more, I'll be happy that that one sold. And then, of course, I sold some loveys. And although I didn't like the late hour, I have to say that in the very last hour for Saturday, after 7 o'clock, I sold, surprise to me, I sold a shawl. I have never sold a shawl in Chatham. People don't seem to like shawls, but here's the picture of the shawl that I sold Saturday evening. So that made my weekend. I thought, if I don't sell anything more than this one poncho, one shawl, by then I had sold 3 or 4 loveys and some hair ties. I was happy. The weekend, I guess, had been worth it. Although I hoped I would sell at least one more item the next day. So Sunday, I was back, and I sold another lovey to a family. Well, no, this is a funny story. The family came up, and it was mother with her mother and child. So it was grandma, mom, and little one. And the little one right away was looking at the loveys. And I thought grandma might get her one. But the next thing I know, mom is talking. And she says, what beautiful work. I know how many hours go into this. Oh, she said, I know how much work you put into this crocheted item. And I said to her that I appreciated that she at least realized it was crochet, because most people, of course, just say, oh, you knit. And she says, oh, yes, I'm a crocheter. So I thought, okay, she's just looking at them, getting ideas, or enjoys looking at crochet. She's a crocheter, and that'll be the end of it. So then the little one is at the loveys, and the next thing I know, she's going through the shawls, and she picked up one, and then she picked up another. And I thought, oh, she's looking at the two, comparing them. I got the impression she maybe was going to buy one. So I said to her, do you want to try them on? And next thing I know, she puts both hangers on the table in front of me, and she's going to take both of the shawls. And after I fold them and put them in a bag, she turns to her daughter, now, which lovey do you want? And she bought a lovey as well. So that was a big purchase from one person. And I will show you the pictures of the 2 shawls that she purchased. And after I started packing them up, I said to her, well, I can see you really like purple as much as I do. And I explained to her that the one purple one did not go straight across like most shawls, that it went up in a V. I showed it to you when I made it. And because it went up like wings, it would drape over her shoulders and not fall off as easily. And she was quite pleased with her purchases, and off she went. So that was my exciting weekend. I sold a poncho, 3 shawls, which still flabbergasts me, a hat, 5 loveys, and some scrunchies. To me, given that I knew it would be a small craft show, I think I did quite well. And many compliments from people that went by that did spend time looking. They did comment on how beautiful the work was, which is always, it's a very satisfying thing for any crafter to be told how beautiful the work is. So that's my experience at the craft show. So because of the craft show, of course, I have no finished objects. I made one thing since last week, and that was Monday. After putting everything away, I started Kiki's next lovey because next week when we come back, she needs a dress for July. This is her July 1st dress, but then for the rest of the month, she'll want something else to wear. So I have finished one dress, or blankie if you want to call it that, for Kiki, but nothing else. Hopefully I'll have a couple things to show you next week. But in the process of getting ready for the show, I decided that I would take some of the baby afghans that I've made. And I have never shown you my baby afghans. I wasn't sure how interested you would be. And I won't spend a lot of time on it. But I do have 4 baby afghans. And I thought I would quickly show them to you now. And then I can pack them away. So the first one, I didn't take this one to the show, is very simply I did this in my usual moss stitch. This is one of the latte cakes from Karen. I think they called it blueberry or something like that. It's just a self-striping, typical Karen cake, but it's latte, which is so soft and cuddly. And I think these go great for baby gifts. They're so soft, and I like to make them a decent size. I made one very similar to this for a friend, and a friend's granddaughter, and she carried it around forever. She may still be carrying it around. And then this is a yarn. I don't even know what it is, but it's quite heavy, like a blanket yarn almost. And I'm pretty sure it was a loops and thread. And again, I did the moss stitch. And you see that the strands quite heavy, and they're multicolored with a mint green, white, and gray in them. I don't make fancy baby afghans. I like to make something that's practical, and I also like to make something that if it's not fancy, then the holes are minimal. And the reason is I think little toes and fingers get caught in them, so I don't like that to happen. And so this is quite heavy, good size, very heavy. They could use this even to put over the bassinet, but I think sometimes the blankets I make for people end up being carried around for many years and could be used as like a mat on the floor for the child to play on. Now this one isn't as thick or as soft as that last one. I have no clue what yarn this is, and this is done with, it's either a half double or a double crochet, and it was again a variegated color, pretty shade, peachy. I don't do peach too often, but when I saw it I thought, oh, that's a perfect baby color. And I don't even remember what yarn it was. And finally, and this is what I do most often, I buy the Bernat blanket yarn. I think it is so soft and cushy, and I usually or most often do the moss stitch. Just happens that this time all I did was straight double crochet. And here's the color. And you know what baby blanket yarn is like. It's so cushy, so cuddly. I like to just hold it and squeeze it. And I know for a fact I made one of these, well, for my neighbor across the street and for the same friend's grandson when he was born. And I was told that still for years after he dragged that around. In fact, his older sister, who got the fuzzy one, would drag his around as well, and is of course washable. And it is so thick, excuse me. It's so thick it can be put on the floor and they can lay on it. So again, a good size. That's a great shower gift. I gave one as a shower gift to a relative, or a birth, celebrating the birth, and it's practical. It can be used for quite a few years for the child. So those are the baby blankets that I have. And at the time when I opened that bag that had those, I found many winter items I forgot I had made and I had never shown you. So I will be bringing those to show you in the fall when we get into winter season. Now, excuse me for a second. So, since I don't have much to show you in regards to finished objects, what I do have to show you is yarn. I kind of went on a yarn spending spree, kind of a celebration in that as of this month I am mortgage free, and I was kind of excited about that. So I decided 1 month I would keep spending the mortgage, but this time it would be on yarn. So I saw a number of yarn companies I hadn't dealt with before. Not all of them are new, but I decided to try out a bunch of new ones to show you. So this will take place over time. You're not going to get them all at once. I'm going to spread them over the summer. But the first one I wanted to tell you about, and this is not new, I wanted to tell you about, in fact, I have two that aren't new, and all three of them today are not new. We'll get new ones starting next week. But what I wanted to tell you was that Expression Fiber Arts has brought in a couple of new bases recently, and I wanted to just mention them and show them to you. So the first one is called Crema Crema Sock. I don't want to throw everything on the floor here. Get this. So I bought, here's a single one, and here's a package. They do have kits of several together. I really like those three together. And I'm going to make something using the three, whether it be a shawl or a wrap or a poncho. I've even considered making myself a sweater of these three together. But I'll show you the single one I have. This Crema Sock, as you can see, it's 70% merino and 30% mulberry. Now they already make a merino mulberry mix, but it's 50-50. And I think you can see the difference. The strand here is a little thicker. In fact, this is a one ply. Doesn't seem to be a twist in it. It's very, very silky and very, very shiny. And this is what they've made for a long time, pearlescent fingering, and they say it's their most popular base. Whereas this one, you can see, I think you can see there is a twist in it. And it seems to be a wee bit thinner. It's not as shiny, but it still feels very nice. But because of the fineness, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make a sweater in it, or whether it would be nicer as a shawl, a nice thin shawl, but it feels very nice, different than their pearlescent. So that's one. But the other one I thought a number of you would like to hear about, because I told you in the past that Expression Fiber Arts had only one that was what you would consider to be a vegan yarn or a non-wool option, and that was their Ephemeral. And I showed you Ephemeral when I did all of the reviews from Expression Fiber Arts, or EFA as I will call them. And Ephemeral is 69% Peruvian Pima cotton and 31% lyocell. It's got the wavy to it. Now it feels very, very nice. Lyocell does have a nice feel to it, and it's an inexpensive fiber to combine with things. Natural, good for the environment. That kind of lyocell, tencel, they're both similar. But what I noted was this new one they brought out in the spring. And it is called, I've got a few here to show you, Moon Gleam Fingering. It has a twist. You can see the, maybe we'll get a darker color. You can see the twist in it. But this is 50% cotton and 50% mulberry silk. Now, I'm not usually a big cotton fan, but when you put it with mulberry silk, and like most of their yarns, it has 400 meters or 437 yards, and this doesn't feel anything like cotton to me. See if I can get a strand here to show it to you. There is a twist in it, but it's not wavy like the Ephemeral. It really, really feels nice. I have two of that color, which is called Believe, and I think that'll make a really nice shawl. Then I got two of this color. It's yeah, you can see some mauve in it, but it is more into the browns and what I call champagne color. Again, I'll show you up close. This is super soft. You wouldn't think cotton, but it has a bit of sheen. I don't know if you can see that. It has a bit of sheen, like a silk would. I wouldn't say it feels like silk exactly, not pure silk. It has a silky feel though. And I got this one other color, and that's shades of blues, although some of that blue looks a little bit purple. I'm not sure what I'll make with any of them, but it really, really feels nice. And I think I will get more when they bring out more colors, because when I got it at first, wasn't excited about it. But then I went back and I felt it again, and I got this other color by accident. By the way, it's called Be the Storm, and this one is called Persephone. I felt it again, and I said, this really, really feels nice. So it's kind of nice that they have this option now, and I think it's going to be a regular base for them. Whether they'll carry it all year or not, I don't know, but they definitely still have this on the site. And like I said, 50% cotton, 50% silk, and it feels lovely. Absolutely lovely. Now, I'm going to be quick with this one, but once again, we're on the topic of vegan yarns, and this comes from the company called Vegan Yarns, which is it's in BC, and I can't tell you exactly where in BC. I have bought from them once before, and they were having a sale. Somebody announced a sale, so I said, well, I have to go take advantage of that. And I went and I got this, which I think is the same as one other one I've gotten from them before. This is organic cotton rayon from bamboo. Now it has a texture. Can you see it? There. Can you see the texture in the yarn? And it's, again, it's thin, but fingering or lace weight. This color is called Sea Goddess. And you see the pretty colors. But this is, I don't think this is the same yarn, although the name is the same. I'm not going to say it. Alburio. I remember buying that name, but I don't remember that texture. It feels like a cotton to me, but it says is organic cotton and rayon from bamboo. So I got one of those, and then they had more of a sale on these others, so I got two of them, and I like the feel of them better, but they are thinner. The first one, I got two of these, and I forgot to tell you how much was in this. 402 meters, 440 yards. This one has 677 meters or 740 yards. It is fairly thin. That's why I got two. I'm almost sure I'm going to be putting two together. And this is completely 100% tencel. It says tencel, and then in brackets it says lyocell. Same thing, 100 grams. So it's so thin, and it was really marked down, and then I had the sale. So I got two of those. And then, and I think I like this the best, I got this, and again, I got two of these. And this is strictly rayon from bamboo, and it has 410 or 400 meters or 448 yards. And it is fairly thin as well, although slightly thicker than that last one I showed you. And again, I think you can see down here the twist in it. And I got two of those because I'm fairly certain I'm going to put the two of them together. If I have a bigger project that I want the two of them one after the other, I might put this with something else, like something white or black, to make it a little bit heavier. And this one was called Cold Star Lake, and this one's called Grapesicle. So those are the ones from Vegan. I probably won't buy from Vegan yarns for quite a while in the future. I'm not necessarily a fan of Vegan. But these were on such a good sale, I had to get them. And then one last, I'm going to tell you while I'm getting it out, I did purchase Reggie's, her subscription, her monthly wacky holiday one. I did buy her summer one, the July, August. I showed you the June one, and I was quite pleased with it. So I bought the July, August. Now, they again are natural or vegan fibers. Again, I'm not as excited about them. But I will show you the July one next week. And I'll wait with the August one till sometime in August. So for those of you that have bought them, I was surprised it got here this soon because I got it last week. And it comes from Germany, and it got here already. So I was surprised it was here this early. Okay, one more yarn to show you, one more company. You have seen yarn from this company before as well, and it is called Ravenswood. And what I did was I actually ordered 4 skeins of yarn. I really like their yarn, and they had some of what she calls mer silk, talk about that in a minute, and some sparkly. But this is how I get my packages from her. You can see Canadian shipping, $3.19, but she does not charge shipping. You might say that she's put it into the cost of her yarn, but her yarn is no more expensive than anybody else. A regular merino nylon blend is $32. I think it was 34 for the sparkle and 36 for the silk one. No more than they are anywhere else. I'm talking Canadian dollars. This is a Canadian hand dyer. She used to be in Nova Scotia, but now she's in New Brunswick. So I know some of you've seen this before, but some of you haven't. So for those that haven't seen it, I have cut open the end so that we can move faster. But I want you to see, it comes in this manila envelope, and this is how the yarn comes to me. And it's vacuum sealed. So when I cut the plastic off, new viewers, maybe you've never seen this, but right away it starts to expand. It comes out of the package, and you might think it's a mess, but it isn't, because it's tied. So all I have to do is get the tie and shake it down and then pull it nice and tight, because it's tied in 3 places. Smells like some kind of special soap that she uses to rinse. I'm sure she uses something to rinse. So what do you think of that color? And then it could be twisted into a hank. The others are already in a hank. I'm not good at putting them in hanks, but I thought to myself, I have to do some different colors. So that's why, since I know I like her yarn, that's why I tried this color. Now this one is one of her silk ones, so it's 75% superwash merino and 25% silk. So it has a very nice silky feel, although her merino nylon blends are pretty close to feeling as good as this silk does. And it's 400 meters, which would be 437 yards. And that's the color, the one color I got. And I'll make probably a fashion scarf from CJ Brady or something like that out of it. Now, I'll show you the other ones I got. They are already hanked up. So here's another merino silk. Everything is the same as this. Everything is the same specs. The only difference is the color, and this is called Sea Lights. And you can see that it is very much the kind of colors that I like to work with. And it feels silky. It's very nice, and I'm looking forward to working with a lot of my new yarns. And where am I going to find the time? Okay, the next two are sparkles. You know how I like my sparkles, but I wanted something different. Again, this time the specs are 75% superwash merino and 25 nylon. I would expect one of those is a little bit less because there is stellina in it. It 400 meters, which is 437 yards. See the sparkle? And look at that color. Like that color? Totally different than what I have been buying lately. Although I do like pinks. This isn't quite the pink that's in my spectrum. I like closer to a fuchsia, but this is more what I call an old rose color. Very pretty, sparkly. And the last one I fell in love with. I almost wanted to order more to make me a sweater. Again, it's kind of fine. And it's called Oceanic. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I would love a sweater in those colors. All different greens and teals. Dark and a little bit of light, but I love this color. I don't know. I may have to order a couple more and try to make a sweater. What I should do is try soon making a sweater out of something this thin. The last time I tried, I wasn't too excited about it, but maybe I'll try again. I think that is stunning. Absolutely beautiful. So that's the end of the yarn I have to show you. But I'm very excited to say I got, if you remember, I went to the Zen Garden. I got some yarn from there, and they are in Sarnia. I ordered some from them that just arrived before I started this video. And I have another one coming from, oh, I have some yarn from Vernon, BC, and another yarn from, I think it's Calgary area or somewhere out in Alberta. I have several different orders of yarn. Oh, I'm getting one from England as well that has the mohair in it. Can't wait to show you that. So I have lots of beautiful yarn coming in the next few weeks, and I'm going to settle down and start stitching tonight, I guess. So I will have maybe one finished object to show you next week and a couple of whips. So if you enjoy seeing yarn, stay tuned, because I have gone on a spree this month and bought yarn. That'll have to slow down when July is over, but in the meantime, that's what I've been doing. So I hoped you enjoyed seeing what I had to show you and hearing about the craft show I was in and seeing more yarn, and look forward to more yarn coming to you. So until next week, happy hooking.